Yo, what's going on guys, it's Anime1 back with another video, and today I'm here with another part of What If Naruto Was Neglected and ended up like Obito. If you guys like the channel, content in the channel, please subscribe to the channel, and while you're at it, also like this video. So without any delay, let's begin the video. 9 figures were standing in a dark cave, and in the middle was Gara, the Kazekage, lifting up, and the bees were being extracted from him. Naruto was in the dark, watching the scene in silence as he observed Bijou going inside the Geto statue. Honestly, he could do it himself, but he had a lot more work to do, and for that he needed Zetsu, but he would just wait on that. You saw the body drop as the Kazekage was now dead, and the Ichibi was gone inside the Geto statue. Naruto turned to Pain as Pain looked at him. Only because of his Rinnegan, he was able to see Naruto, and Pain nodded. Very well. I sent some intruders outside. Deidara, Sasori, you take care of them, while I'll see what happens to them. Pain said as all of the holograms disappeared and Naruto vanished in a swirling vortex. The entrance of the cave was blown up as Menma, Kakashi, and Sakura along with Lady Chiyo entered the cave. They saw Gaara's dead body, and everything went hell loose from there. Menma lost his cool, and Deidara took full advantage of that shit. He went on him, but due to Kakashi having his Kamui, he was able to warp away Deidara's other arm, basically making him useless. And at the end of the day, Deidara escaped, so that was that. And Sasori was killed by Sakura and Lady Chiyo. This match pretty much goes as the same as the canon, and they receive the information from Sasori of Suki's hideouts and stuff. So yeah, that goes pretty much as canon. So let's cut to Naruto, since here's where everything is gonna start changing from the original. Yeah, so let's begin. Naruto was looking at Zetsu. The Minashi clan, how are they doing? Will they be all in the compound that day? Naruto asked. Zetsu nodded. Yes, they'll all be there. Exactly on the 10th of October. They'll all be there. And I've also heard that the Hokage and his people are gonna have a meeting with the Minashi clan, Zetsu said. Naruto chuckled. That's very well then. Before they come, I'll try to finish this. I don't want to reveal my identity yet, but if it comes to it, I'll crush whoever is the Konoha's ambassador, Naruto said as Zetsu looked at him. If I may ask, why do you want to kill the Minashi clan? They're just the clan of samurais. Isn't there something you want from them? Zetsu asked. Naruto looked at Zetsu. He knew that this bastard was not Maruo's will, but he had to act right now. No, they do have something that I want, and for that, they'll all have to be killed, because I know for a fact they won't give me the information, because none of them know it. And to open the sacred safe that they need, I need the blood of a lot of Minashis to open that. That's why it's almost physically impossible to open that, because having that many Minashis of blood is simply not possible. But I'll open the secret of the land of iron, which is why they are so strong, because they don't have chakra yet. They're very strong, comparable to a shinobi. Why do you think that is, Zetsu? Naruto asked. Zetsu, he knew the answer, but he had to act like a fool. Honestly, I have no idea. Naruto nodded. That's it. The Minashi clan has something that'll give me a huge power boost. Not that I need it, but it's important for our goals. I'll have to be strong as I can so that I can take on the allied shinobi forces in the future, Naruto said. Zetsu nodded. I just started to sink in the ground. They'll be in 3 months from now. Exactly, Zetsu said. Naruto nodded. As soon as Zetsu disappeared, Naruto let out a sigh and removed his mask. This is a lot of shit going on, but once I obtain that crystal of the Minashi clan, that will be the first step of my plan completed. And the second, hopefully, Kushina will be among those people that will come to the land of iron. That will eliminate two stones with one target. Naruto said. I just started vanishing on a strolling vortex. Time skip. 1 month later. Minato was stressing out. The Akatsuki had already captured three bijus under almost 2 months, and that was very progressive. They're capturing things fast, and he couldn't do anything about it. Three of the nine bijus were already captured, and now he was worried about his son. And also the fact that in 2 months from now, he would be having a meeting with the samurais in case of trading and stuff, so that needed to be that. He would have to go to the land of iron since Mifune refused to come to Konoha. It was the man's pride didn't let him come. So Minato had decided that he would go there for the negotiations that had to be done. Minato sighed as he thought about the Genins and Kakashi, and also recently sent Menma that went after the two Akatsuki members, Hidan and Kakuzu. They were the fellows that had killed Asuma Sarutobi and Shikamaru. Mostly of them all wanted blood. He wanted Hidan dead, crawling at his feet, and Minato could understand that. He also wanted a single man dead at his feet, because due to that man, Hiruzen was dead, and maybe Naruto was dead as well. If that man had not been there, he would have taken care of Orochimaru, and Hiruzen had been alive. He would have also taken care of Gaara, and his son would be alive. It was all that man's fault, that man in that white mask, that Uchiha, whoever he was on Minato's hit list to kill first. He would hunt down that man and kill him personally. He had vowed himself that. Minato heard someone coming into his room, and he saw his beautiful wife enter his room. As soon as he saw her, all the worries in his face and his mind vanished. She was the only thing that was keeping him together. The job of an Hokage was extremely stressful. Kushina looked at Minato. What's wrong, dear? She asked. Minato shook his head. A lot of shit. That masked man is still roaming around, and also the fact that I have a meeting with the Minashi clan in 2 months. They are not the people who are very cooperative, but you have to get this done. This will extremely help Konoha with the resources, and will be much richer than compared to right now we are. Minato said as Kushina nodded. But that's not the only thing troubling you, is it? She asked. Minato smiled at Kushina. You know me too well. Yes, the Katsuki, Minato said. Kushina looked at him. Do you think that masked man is one of them? Kushina asked. Minato looked at her. I don't know if I'm being completely honest. He might not. That man is powerful enough on his own, and if he has the support of the Katsuki, it's honestly terrifying. And from what I have got the information, the leader of the Katsuki resides in the hidden rain village, but for right now I refrained Jiraiya from going there. At least for right now. If he gathers more information, I might send him, but for right now, he's forbidden to go there. Minato said as Kusina nodded. Yes, that was a good decision. But you're mainly worried about Menma, aren't you? She said. Minato nodded. Yes, he's my son, Kushina. I'm of course worried about him. I've already lost a son. I cannot lose another one, Minato said. Kushina got a sad smile on her face. Naruto, he was never a bad kid, now was he? It was just us and this village that made him that way, she said. Minato nodded. Yes, He was a kind kid, even with all the hatred he got, he smiled. That all changed when he was 5 years old. Somehow, became more distant, never smiled. Honestly, the only time I think he smiled was when he was with Mikoto. Any other time, I've never seen him smile. Minato said. Kushina flinched at the name of her best friend. You remember the last conversation she had with a friend? No, that was not a conversation. It was breaking up of a friendship. Flashback. Mikoto was furious, was going towards the Namikaze mansion. She was furious because Kushina had abandoned her son. The oath of the Uzumaki was family comes forward the most, and yet Kushina had abandoned that oath. She knocked on the door as Kushina appeared. Kushina smiled at her best friend. She went for a hug, but Mikoto stopped her. Kushina, what the hell do you think you're doing? Mikoto said in an angered tone. Kushina looked at her best friend in slight confusion. What do you mean, Mikoto? She said. Mikoto looked at Kushina. Don't play dumb, Kushina. You abandoned your own family, she said. Kushina looked at Mikoto. I've never abandoned my family, Mikoto. I have no idea what you're talking about, she said, getting rather offended. Mikoto glared at Kushina, activating a 3-Tomoe Sharingan. You are such an imbecile, Kushina. Do you even not know your own son? Naruto. I'm talking about him. Kushina. Face turned dead serious when she heard that name. Naruto, you say, huh? You mean the demon, she said. Mikoto's eyes widened when she heard that. How could you even say that, Kushina? She said. Kushina looked at her. He has the QB still inside of him. That makes him the demon. And not to say the fact, how many people did he kill that day, Mikoto? How many people did the nine-tailed fox kill? Many of my friends died that day, and many of yours died that day too. Do not hate him for that, Kushina said. Mikoto looked at her friend in disbelief. Kushina, you wear the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki as well. Do you honestly believe that Naruto is the demon? If with that logic you're going, then you were also the demon, since you had both of a soul and chakra sealed inside of you. Isn't that true? Mikoto said with such venom in her tone that made Kushina flinch. Kushina looked at Mikoto. She didn't want to take shit right now. Get lost, Mikoto. Don't speak ever to me again. And no, I'm not demon. I'll never be like that demon brat. And get out of my face, she said as she slammed the door shut. Mikoto was now very angry. She went towards Naruto, who was listening to the whole conversation, and he had an impassive look on his face. And why do you ask? He had an impassive look on his face. At this point, Naruto had already met Madara, so he was rather emotionless. Mikoto looked at Naruto, who didn't look like he was phased by all this. It was like he was used to this. Naruto, I'm sorry you had to hear that. He shook his head. It's fine, Mikoto-san. I'm just used to this shit already. There's one more person adding to the list of the thousands that live in this village. It's nothing new, Naruto said. Mikoto looked at the boy and tried to come forward and hug him, but Naruto stepped back. I don't have a heart, Mikoto-san, like you. Maybe I really am a demon, Naruto said as he started to walk away. Mikoto looked at the boy, who was truly broken, and she sighed. What can I do to help you, Naruto? Even Suki can't get through you. Then who can? She thought as she looked at him. His small figure walking away into the darkness. Suki was in Orochimaru's hideout, and currently she was standing over the dead body, or the snake-like body of Orochimaru. You really thought that I was going to hand over my body to you, Orochimaru? No, my goal when it came here from the start was to kill you, she said, as Kabuto, who was watching the entire scene, was now shaking. Suki had her Mangekyo Sharingan activated as he looked at Kabuto. "Get lost, scum," she said. As soon as he said that, Kabuto started running away for his dear life. He didn't want to get killed. He still had more to do. Even if Orochimaru, his lord, was dead, he had to stay alive and continue the snake's legacy. In the land of fire, Shikamaru was looking at the chopped up pieces of Hidan in a big hole. And also, Hidan was cursing. "You bastard, I'll just chop your face off with my teeth if it's what needs to be. Don't think just because you have defeated me, Lord Joshin will let this slide. Lord Joshin will act upon justice for me. He's a god after all," Deidara said. Shikamaru still looked at Hidan with an impassive gaze. "For right now, who's your god?" "Yes, it's me," Shikamaru said as he brought down the ladder, and in a huge explosion, all the debris came off, and that was the end of Hidan. In a nearby location, Kakuzu was really in a bad condition. He didn't know what the hell to do. He only had one heart left. The boy named Menmo Uzumaki and Kakashi Hatake with the tag team work were too much for him. The boy with his Hirashi no Jutsu and Kakashi with his skills and tactical mind was too much for him. Menma was a powerhouse in his own. He could use up to two tails of the Kyuubi's chakra, and since he had the full Kyuubi, even those two tails were worth a lot. And Kakuzu was on his lost heart. Menma was looking at Kakuzu with a smirk. "You are done for, Kakuzu," he said as he created a shadow clone. He formed a Rasengan in his hand and the shadow clone started applying wind chakra to it. As soon as it did that, a Russian shuriken was formed in his hand. "This will be your end." Kakuzu looked at the attack. "If I get hit by that attack, I'm done for," he thought, as he started attacking Menma with his black threads, but Menma smirked. "You don't know, do you? When you're fighting a Hiwashi no Jutsu fighter, you're not supposed to let them touch you, and for me, I've already done that several times," he said. As soon as he said that, in a red flash, Menma appeared right behind Kakuzu and slammed the Rasen Shuriken in his back, getting blown back as he and Kakashi watched as Kakuzu was blown to bits. In a nearby location, Zetsu was watching the whole scene. He saw Hiran die, then Kakuzu. He frowned, yet he started sinking in the ground. "Naruto is not gonna be happy about this," he thought, losing already the three members of the Akatsuki, and only when they had captured only three goddamn Bijus. This was definitely not good, he thought as he started sinking into the ground. Going to report to the real leader of that Akatsuki. The land of iron. Mifune looked at the safe that was stored in a very sacred location. Almost no one knew of this except him and his wife, since they were the leader of the Minashu clan and the leader of the land of iron. This was something that had passed down from the great sage of the Six Paths himself to the samurais as they earned his respect for because of their pride and swordsmanship. But the sage did say this: no one should ever wield a weapon like this. That weapon was a sword, and in that sword was a crystal. That crystal was supposedly what the sword siphoned the power off, and with the sword siphoning power and the crystal being such a huge power up, yup, those two were in perfect sync. And he knew for a fact inside that safe that sword was located, and he wouldn't let anyone get to that sword. And that was the only reason why they agreed with Minato to an alliance. The Land of Iron, you see, never taken an alliance with any nations, but there was a gut feeling that something would happen to his clan, and not only that, something would happen to the safe and the sword inside it. Of course, he knew the code to crack the safe, but it could also be cracked by sheer power, but the fact was the power that was needed to crack the safe was a Biju level chakra, and that was almost impossible for one person to have. Unless they were Uzumakis, but he doubted that. The only alive Uzumakis in the world were right now were Kushina Uzumaki and her son Menma Uzumaki, so those two were alive of Konoha. That's why he was allying with them. Those two would not harm this place, and due to that fact, the sword should be safe. All he wanted was the good of the world, nothing more or less. And if he had to swallow his pride as being an independent nation for that, so be it. Time skip 1 month. Suki was currently standing over Deidara, who was coughing up blood. This, this can't be it. I cannot die, Deidara said as he looked at Suki, who was menacingly glaring at him. She had her Mangekyo Sharingan activated. She was at a very bad condition as well. Her eyes were the one that was at a bad condition. Physically, she was not so exhausted. With her Susano and all the abilities that their Mangekyo granted her, she was a powerhouse. She doubted that even Itachi could touch her right now. So she looked at Deidara. Tell me the location of Itachi Uchiha, she said as she glared at Deidara, who looked at her. Like I ever will. I will never betray the Akatsuki. I will never betray him. Deidara said as a mage of the orange mask popped in his head. That man was the man who ever acknowledged his arts. He would not betray him. Suki looked at him. So be it. She started went through hand signs, but before she could, something grabbed her arm and lifted her from the ground and slammed her into the ground. Looked up to see the same orange mask figure standing above her. Hello there, Uchiha Suki, Naruto said as his Sharingan glared down at her. Suki was in shock. Just another Uchiha, she thought. But soon as she thought that, she quickly stood up and jumped back away from the man. Naruto ignored Suki and looked at Deidara, a single Sharingan glaring down at the man. Deidara, you failed me, he said. Deidara looked at the man and gritted his teeth. I'm sorry, he said. Naruto looked at Deidara. Sorry and stuff are not accepted in the Akatsuki. And what were we about to do this right now? Blow yourself up? Sorry, but that girl, she is a really crucial part of my plan, Naruto said, as his hand started cackling with lightning. Sorry, Deidara, but this is as far as you go, Naruto said. As soon as he said that, he brought his hand out, and in a flash, Deidara's whole body was ignited with flames. Deidara screamed out in pain as his body started to get burned alive. Sorry, those flames are not those hard to extinguish. Those are special summoning flames, and to extinguish them, you'll have to add a water chakra nature naturally, and that was almost impossible to do that, Naruto said, and Deidara's black, burnt body soon dropped into the ground. Sorry, Deidara, but I cannot let you kill her, Naruto thought as he looked at Suki. Uchiha Suki, I presume. She nodded as he looked at him. Very well. Itachi Uchiha is in the old hideout of the Uchiha clan, the outskirts of the Konoha village. You should go there and look for him. I'm pretty sure you'll be thrilled to see his foolish little sister, Naruto said as he started chuckling and vanished in a swirling vortex. Only 1 week was left until the massacre of the Minashu clan, and his first step of his plans would be complete.